This video is made possible by the following sponsors. Make sure to check out their awesome products in the links below. Hey guys, Jimmy here and welcome back to Automobilista for another video. Today we are in the beta version of AMS to try out this new content, the Brazilian Touring Car Classics. Now surprisingly, my knowledge of Brazilian touring cars isn't too hot, but from what I can tell so far, it's basically low power boxes battling it out for 10 laps at a time, so what's not to like there? So far this series only includes two cars, the totally not Volkswagen Beetle and the Fiat Uno, which is what I'm going to be driving today. We're going to be doing a 10-lap race at Guarapore, another Brazilian track that I can't pronounce, because it's a very fun circuit and I think it actually really plays to this car, these cars. These are front-wheel drive cars around here, so you're constantly playing the throttle to try and get the thing turned in, so this circuit really highlights that. Anyway, let's go and unleash 110 horsepower of fury. Okay then, on board in our Fiat Uno box, for the battle no one asked for, the Beetle versus Best Box. Who's going to come out on top? There's the green flag, bit of a bad getaway there, lots of wheel spin because front wheel drive, and away we go then for 10 laps of old Brazilian touring car action. As we very lethargically go up through the gears, up into 4th gear, 160 k's on the speedo, it's about 100 mile an hour. We are going to reach it, we are going to reach it just about, going down a T1. Despite the bad getaway, not a bad start, made it quite a few places there, actually now to the inside, just trying to slot in somewhere. Got the inside of a fellow box there, thank you very much mate. Beetle there in front. Gonna just slot in behind him. Oh, understeer a bit on the first couple of laps. Tyres are cold. As you can imagine, cold tyres in a front-wheel drive car is not fun at all. You just have no grip anywhere. You just sort of flounder around. It's okay, everyone else is in the same situation as us. They're all going slow as well. There's a box looking to the inside. I'm going to keep calling it a box and not an Uno. There's the old front-wheel drive wash. You'll probably see that a couple of times during this video. Up into 3rd gear. These cars are all about momentum, and this right-hander here sort of showcases that. Hopefully I can have a good run through there on our first lap. Softly, softly, then back on the power. As soon as you get on max power, you have to then think about how the car is going to understeer, because big power, I say big power, obviously big power in context of this car isn't too much. But if you're at full throttle, the car is going to want just to wander up to the outside of the track. I say wander, push the outside of the track, because that is the nature of a front-wheel drive car. First lap pretty much complete. This long left-hander rounds out the lap. Didn't need to pun. That was actually a pretty good pun. And here we are then, 1 lap done. 9 to go. Go behind, gets a bad run out of there. Going to try and slot into the slipstream of the car in front, which is the lovely looking not Beetle, as you can say there. Now specs of this car, if you're wondering, because of course it isn't the fastest car in the world, and that's what makes it pretty fun, to be honest. This is a 1.6 litre inline 4 turbo, apparently. That produces about just over 110 horsepower, so about as much horsepower as my MX-5 produced when it wasn't turbo. And I've driven that car for a while and it isn't very fast. Weighs about 850 kilograms, so it's fairly light, which means that it actually corners pretty quickly. It corners pretty well. It just doesn't really have any grunt. Up the inside of the 22 here. H pattern as well, you probably noticed by now because of my very fashionable plimsolls I'm wearing here today. And of course the fact that I'm clutching and heel and towing, which does add another element of fun to the car. Right, let's try and get this done well. It's just a blend of the throttle through there. You don't come all the way off. See that car behind got that wrong, so we're actually a little bit of no man's land right now, down to 3rd gear. I always get in between 2nd and 3rd through this last section. At least this car has that option. The Beetle in front only has 4 gears, same sort of power, same sort of weight, but actually it's missing a gear. We don't really use 5th gear here, but as a result, the 4th gear in the Beetle is super long, and the 4th gear in this is actually pretty short, so we're up in the revs a lot more, which is where we need to be in this car. We do have a boost gauge, you can see, sitting in the middle of the dash there, but it doesn't seem to work, which is a little bit of a shame. I was hoping to see it work, because then we could see how much boost this thing is producing, which I'd wager not very much. It is a turbo, this, as I said before. I don't really feel any turbo, though. The great joy in this car, though, comes with just getting the most out of it. I find, as you go down to cars of less power, the driving skill doesn't go down itself. You have to, it's a different sort of driving. You have to think about momentum and how you're going to keep the most speed coming out of the corner. And that might sound silly because, you know, well, obviously you're going to try and keep speed because you're trying to drive fast, but these things get up to speed a lot slower than, you know, a GT3 car, definitely not slower than that. A lot slower than even the BTCC car, you know. These things are not quick, so the more time you spend at high speed, the quicker your lap times are going to be, and the better result you're going to get. Best racing advice. So again, down to third gear here. I think if you get it right, it's definitely a third gear corner. See how softly, you see how I don't come off the throttle there? You really can't afford to come off the throttle that much, the front wheel drive car. Because the front wheels do the turning when on throttle. That's how this car turns. The rear of the car, when you have rear wheel drive, it pushes the car around. This thing drags the car around. So if you're off throttle, the car's just freewheeling around the corner, and that never works. Another lap down. Need to start focusing catching these guys in front. I've got a little bit of a gap behind me. That's not too bad. Come on! Such a slow boy. Oh, there you go. There's an example of getting the gear change wrong. I like that in AMS. I like that you get punished for messing up the gear changes. You get some people who just go down through the gears and just not even use a clutch and just smash it in, and sometimes that can be faster if sims aren't really programmed properly, but it's not in this. Looks like my box bay is helping out some friends, holding out these guys for me. Cheers, dude. I'm gonna try and go to the outside. Oh, Beetle with the old side swipe there. Come on, mate. I love the livery on that that little box in front though. Look at it. I'm going to keep calling it the box, by the way, instead of the Uno, because that's a better name for it. The old... Oh, there's a livery, and I can't think of a livery that reminds me of. But it looks cool. I like those the green and red stripe on that. Anyway, gonna have a look around. Maybe to the outside here of the 8 car. Is that going to happen? No, sorry. Bit of contact. We do have damage on here, so I've got to be careful. Luckily, these cars don't really get up to speed enough to damage each other, so that's why I've got damage on. Down to second gear there, I'm taking quite an inside line, so I can get the power nice and early over the crest there. Car gets a bit light, and you feel it in the steering. Of course, this being a front-wheel drive car, you start to understeer a little bit, but it's only a very mild crest, so it isn't too difficult. I want to gear in between second and third there. And watch that speed climb, very slowly. What sort of speed are we doing at the straight then? Have a look. 160k, it's about 100 mile an hour there. Still going, still going, still going. So maybe about 107, 108 mile an hour on the straight, which isn't slow, isn't that slow, but it just doesn't feel like it gets there very fast. Easing out. Again, you can see as soon as I get on the throttle, the car just starts pushing to the outside. You have to take that into account. Of course, if you're driving a longer race, you don't want to be doing that too much because you'll be burning up the tyres. But in this 10-lap sprint, I can really afford to lead on these tyres around here. Oh, okay. Late apex. Nah, not too great there. You see when I get off the front, the car sort of does that. I want to avoid that as much as possible. It just isn't really ideal. Oh, let's catch these guys in front. Come on, Boxy. I believe. I'm pretty sure there was a very old, annoying internet personality called Boxy, but I think that's before my time on YouTube, so who knows. Third gear. There you go. Just having a little bit of negotiation with the throttle through there. My line through this corner is very odd. I prefer the tight line. This is sort of the GTR LM line, as I call it. The AI sort of take the sweeping line, which I don't think is really the front-wheel drive line. Front-wheel drive likes to square things off a little bit more. That was a little bit too wide coming in, so then putting the car back into the corner would be quite difficult. I'll try and showcase it next lap and see, show you what I mean, because a lot of the time I just talk shit without showing you what I mean. I'm going to try second gear this time. Bring to the inside. Taking the shorter line. Looks like the Beetles are pretty quick around here. We're saying that I can see some Unos up there as well, so yeah, pretty fair fight here between the best box and Beetle. Oh god, just getting off boost, I guess. Just being out of the power band is horrendous in this car. That's nothing. Easy now. I actually really like this sort of car in AMS. They do the Opala as well. The sort of rear-wheel drive, the slow Opala. And I love driving that thing because it's so lethargic and it's rear-wheel drive. You still get the arse out every now and then. It's a very fun car to drive, and I think AMS does those sort of cars really well. In fact, I can't think of a bad car in AMS, you know. When I think of other sims, I think of maybe R-Factor 2, I think of iRacing, I think of Assetto Corsa. There are bad cars in those that aren't as good as the rest of them. In AMS, I don't think there's a single one. I think they're all actually to the same standard, which I think is super impressive. It's just a shame that the game doesn't really reach that many people nowadays. A lot of the content, whilst it is good, is sort of obscure, like Brazilian old touring cars, you know. It makes sense because Racer is a Brazilian company. But I don't know. I'm hoping there's something they've got in the wings for this soon, because AMS is one of those titles that, whilst I really enjoy, it sort of looks old. That puts a lot of people off. Not many people actually do stuff in multiplayer in this anymore. I don't know. It's just a little bit of a... I would like to see it do better than it does AMS, but it's been the same since game Stock Car as well. Stock Car Extreme. It's been a very underrated title. Definitely something you should try out if you want to... I think, thinking about it, because I always used to recommend going to try out maybe R-Factor, but this is like a better version of R-Factor. It's not quite RF2, but it's a better version of R-Factor. So anyone looking maybe to get into driving with quite a few different car series, there's a lot of series in AMS, I'd really recommend picking it up if you can, because it's just worth it for that sort of offline experience. The AI aren't bad, they aren't the best in the market, but they aren't bad at all. There's a lot of fun to be had in the single player experience here. And lots of new tracks for you to learn. There was a new track that came out recently, like an Ecuadorian track, I want to say. I think it's called like Ibarra or something like that. I went to drive it the other day. I've never driven it before, so it's sort of cool learning a new track. But this game is cool for stuff like that. Anyway, whilst we've been rambling, we've been slightly catching the guys in front, the Beetle Squadron, Flight of the Beetles. Gonna go for the super ultra braking technique at the inside. Not quite. Maybe. No. Come on. No, not quite. Just playing with that throttle there, playing with that understeer. Love a bit of understeer, me. Ah, jeez. It's so strange where you're taking I'm taking techniques from driving the GTR LM and applying it to this car. I'm not sure what that says. I think it says just how backwards the GTR LM is, but it's an interesting concept. Come on, we're getting closer. Come on, there are 3 places here we can take. These guys are squabbling. I'm not sure how many laps we have left. I don't really like looking at lap count. I just like driving like every lap is my last lap, you know. More fun that way. It's just a very pleasurable car to drive this. It's not massively challenging. It's one of those cars, it's the same with all front-wheel drive cars actually, they're fairly easy to drive at a decent pace, but you want to get the absolute maximum out of them, you have to really understand how the car works, how it pulls, you know, what the traction's like, what the saves are. And that's what I love about driving front-wheel drive cars. There's just such a technique to them, even though they are backwards. Right, we're now deep in the slipstream. Of course, these cars known to produce a lot of downforce, so we're going to go super fast now. Look at that, nearly 180 k's in the speedo before hitting the anchors. Gonna go right to the inside. Come on! Ah, I didn't quite have the grip there just to pull alongside. It looks like Blue Beetle is going to get wrecked. He's going to be on the other side now. I'm going to go 3 wide into this right-hander. Don't know where that AI car is, haven't got it. There he is! Can't quite out-drag the Beetle. Gonna go to the inside though for here. Wait on the brakes and go to the extreme inside. I'll sort out the apex speed when I get there. There it is. I'm going to just sit here. He has nowhere to go. Nice, move made. Now we can focus on this last of the Beetles in front. 4th gear through here. Land of the throttle, get the rear turning. Get the rotation going, then back on the throttle, aim for that curb on the outside. Don't run over it though. Of course, front wheel drive on the grass is horrible. Oh, I went to 5th gear there instead of 3rd. Not the best way to slow down. Again, over the crest there. Oh, we found a bit of pace now, finally, in the car. Oh no. 2nd gear, bring it back in. There you go. Accelerate. So you're just aiming for that curb. You have to just predict the understeer We had a really good run out of there, actually. We've got a really good run. This guy's going to be there standing.
Final lap. This is it.
There we are then. Best box. One more place. Can we catch the guys in front? I don't think we can. Oh, Beatles going to go back up the inside, is he? Is he? Oh, I overshot that. Maybe we can apex it. He's on the inside. No, I'm going to cut him off. Thank you very much. 10 laps have absolutely flown by around here. Ah, just balancing it. You can see the understeer. They're just trying to negotiate with the car. What it wants to do is rotate. You can't let it. Rotation in the front wheel drive car is scary. Just gonna hang it in third gear. Backing it into the corner now. You can really start driving these cars quickly. They don't respond too well to it though. There's definitely a very fine limit between doing that and actually gaining some speed or just scrubbing lap time. Fourth gear again, the blend. I got on the front wheel earlier. How much more space I had on the outside. That meant I'm going to be close enough to do anything with these guys in front. Ah! Front wheel drive save. Front wheel drive save is when you're having a solid lap, you just smash the throttle and it brings the car back round again. Case in point. Not quite enough to attack the guys in front, but that was 10 laps here in the best box, the Fiat Uno in AMS. Lots of fun this. Lots of fun. It might not be the most powerful car in the grid. It might have backwards backwards drivetrain, but it's a hell of a lot of fun. Really recommend giving it a go if you have access to the beta. But guys, that's the video done. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button. If you really enjoyed it, hit subscribe to be notified of future videos. I wasn't planning on doing a video today because I actually feel pretty ill. My throat is really hurting right now. So again, if you have enjoyed the video, then help out Jimmy by liking, etc. Take care guys, have an awesome day. See you all next time.